welcome to Wrangle Mate. This is going to be the full demo walkthrough of Wrangle Mate, Media Management Made Easy. What is Wrangle Mate? Wrangle Mate is a nifty little app designed to streamline media management in post-production workflows. With Wrangle Mate, you can basically easily create media logs within seconds. You can count specific file extensions. You can flag potentially corrupt files with ease, and you can detect potential duplicates as well. So who's Wrangle Mate for? It's basically for data wranglers, DITs, edit assistants, but really anyone in the film or TV industry who has to constantly deal with large amounts of card media. You know, you're on a location shoot, for example, you have to wrangle a lot of card media, and usually the client requires a tape log. This is usually done in Excel or Google Sheets. Here is like an example spreadsheet that we usually use on large-scale reality shows, where you put in your tape number, which is going to be the folder name of your offloaded card, the size, usually in gigabyte, a clip count of the card you offloaded, and quite usually often now the first and last clip name of the card you've offloaded. So there was no good solution out there that automates that whole process, and it was a very tedious task to do this manually. So I decided to build an app for it, which essentially makes my life so much easier because all the information here is being created automatically. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Wrangle Mate. You can download it from my website, and once you unzipped it, you can just place it in your applications folder. It's available for Windows and Mac. Today we're going to check out the Mac version. So if you open it the first time, you may want to right click and open it. Otherwise you might get a potential error flag, but yeah. So this is what it's going to look like. It's essentially consists of this data table here. You have different information in there: folder name, folder size, file count, file types, first file name and last file name. And what it does, you can with one click basically create the entire media log and then of your offloaded cards, and then simply copy and paste it in your Google Sheets or Excel spreadsheet. Okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty of all the settings and all the options you have in there, I'm quickly going to show you how essentially it works. You select your main folder. Basically, this is, for example, a shoot day with all your offloaded cards, right? You select it from there. So I've created this test shoot day here, and within this test shoot day, I've got all my cards from one given shoot day. Just select this one, and then you're good to go. Hit start button. And then we've got it. We've got all the folder names, we've got the folder sizes, file count, file types, first and last file name. And then I would usually just go ahead and copy, select all of the entries here, copy it to my clipboard, and then it's really as easy as pasting it in here. Done. So that's essentially, the main feature of Wrangle Mate. It just makes this cross-referencing between field and post so much easier. Usually when you wrangle on location, the fields the post house wants to cross-reference everything you've offloaded to make sure they really got everything that you offloaded. And that's basically this most simple solution to get the job done. Okay, let's dive a little bit into the settings here. I've kept it quite dynamic. So within the settings up here, you've got a few preferences. You can enable a duplicate check, which I'm going to show you in a minute. You can, you have different options like list hidden folders, check hidden subfolders for files, count hidden files. So it's really whatever, you need to get done within your workflow. You can adjust it here. You can change the folder size. You can display it in bytes, kilobyte, megabyte, or gigabyte. You can adjust the decimal digits of the folder size. Again, totally up to you and your workflow. You can change the conversion standard between binary and decimal. So Windows has a different conversion standard to Mac OS. Windows uses the binary system and Mac uses the decimal system. So on a Mac, for example, 1000 kilobytes is 1 megabyte, right? It's slightly different on Windows machines, where 1024 kilobyte is 1 megabyte. So that being said, you can keep it consistent. You can change it here. For example, if the field uses a Mac and the post house uses Windows machines, you can keep the data consistent there. You can choose to enable or disable certain table columns here. In case you don't need all the information, you can adjust it there. That's it for the preferences. Files to count. It's a super handy feature. Quite often you don't want every file extension to be taken into account. So usually it's like, for us, it's usually MXF files, MP4 files, MOV, and WAV files. But you can totally adjust it so it only will count the file extension that you specify within here. If you remove every file extension in here, it will count any file extension. So again, that way you keep it flexible. You can count what you like, only what matters to your workflow, and that's a pretty handy feature to have. Next up is files to flag. So there's certain files you want to flag, file extensions that you want to flag, right? For example, I use it quite often for SLV files. What are SLV files? They are salvation files that are being created within Sony cameras. For example, when a clip doesn't quite finalize in the camera. So this will create essentially a corrupt clip. And what happens quite often in the field is the DITs or the data wranglers at hand don't quite notice it immediately. Especially if you have to offload like 60, 70, 80 cards a day, which is quite common on large-scale reality shows, for example. You cannot check every single folder that you've offloaded for potentially corrupt clips. So, and then you have to turn around the cards quickly in the field to be ready for the next shoot day. So cards have to be formatted. And by the time the media hits post, they might discover this SLV file. And sometimes it's too late to recover these files because they're already being used again in the field. So with this handy feature, you can immediately detect SLV files. You can then go in and recover the media immediately. I'll show you how this works in practice in just a minute. Next up is folders to ignore. Quite often, you're not interested in any thumbnails, for example, or clips that are in the trash folder of the camera card. And here you can just specify folders to be ignored, and then they won't show up in the file count in here. Cool. Let's get started with the duplicate check. It's a super handy feature, as I said. Let's, for example, say accidentally, a lot of DITs use multiple card readers on one machine. It's quite easy to get mixed up what card has been offloaded and which hasn't been offloaded, especially if multiple card readers, 3 or 4, are connected to one machine. I try to avoid it, but obviously resources are sometimes limited and it needs to be done. And just the duplicate checker is an easy feature to stay on top and make sure you haven't accidentally offloaded the same card twice and maybe forgot to offload another card. So I'll usually leave this enabled. Let's see how it looks in practice. So if I go into my test shoot day in here, I'll just create a copy of one given folder. And what the duplicate checker essentially does, it checks for file count and folder size. And if for 2 entries these match, it will flag it as a potential duplicate. All right. It will highlight it in here. We can see, easily these two have the same folder size and file count. And then, sometimes it can happen that there's a false positive where 2 entries have the exact same folder size and file count, but then, it's easy to identify it. What you can do is just double click the folder name column, and then it will open automatically this file in Finder. Same for here. And then you can check, okay, cool. It's actually a duplicate folder. And then you can, take action as needed. Yeah, next feature is the flag file feature. I don't have an SLV file at hand at the moment. So what we can do is we just add the CSV file in here. So now it should flag any CSV file that are within my specified folder path here. So within this test shoot day one. So let's pretend the CSV is an SLV file. I've hidden an SLV file somewhere within these folders. I can't remember where. And let's just check it out. Cool, flag file alert. So it's basically working. We actually found two CSV files in our test rushes folders, and this is in an entire folder path. And we can see, hey, I'm a dodgy file .csv. So yeah, it worked perfectly. It flagged these two files, and then you can easily go in there and check like fx6 e01. Let's check it out. E01, double click on here. And sure enough, these two dodgy files are in there. And then, you can take action, recover the media, and you're good to go. Cool. Next one up. There's not much left to say, really. The license, obviously, once you're done, punch in your license key that you receive when you purchase the app from my email. Just activate it here. You do need internet connection to activate it initially, but then you can also use it for a certain period of time offline. We have a folder name search up here. If you want to filter or search for given folder names, for example, here, I only want to display FX9s. All right, FX9, and then you're good to go. You can easily filter it this way. Another handy feature is keyboard shortcuts. You can use Command A to simply select everything, Command C to copy everything to the clipboard, and Command X to unselect, deselect everything. So yeah, that works quite well. And that's really everything there's for today. I hope you enjoy Wrangle Mate. Let me know your feedback, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.